Hi traders, and welcome to the PL Capital Weekly Market Review. I'm your host Paul. I use wave analysis to look at the charts to see what the next wave could be. In this video we're going to look at the S&P, the Nasdaq, and some select stocks. So with that, let's get started, and we'll start with the upcoming economic calendar. Next week will be super quiet compared to the last 2 weeks. There are no data points coming out. The only one is on Friday, the Michigan Consumer Sentiment, and that one is the consensus is that it'll be right in line with last month's number. So I don't think there's any data points that are going to be moving the markets at all. There's no earnings, not until the last big tech one is Nvidia in a couple of weeks. So compared to the last 2 weeks, the volatility that we've seen and the sharp price movements and reversals, I think next week is just going to be a very quiet, almost like a consolidating type of week. So I don't expect big fireworks, but you never know. All right, let's get on to the charts. Start with the S&P. This is the futures contract. Last week I said, I saw this move down as an ABC, and I think that this is just the A wave, and we should be getting a bounce for the B before we come down for the C. So we got our bounce for sure, very strong bounce, especially after today. And I still think that this is the B wave. And the reason for that is this price action in here. Because I see this as 5 waves. Came down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this last wave was 3 waves for the 5th wave. So when this happened, I was thinking that this could have been the 3-wave move for the, this move could have been the 3-wave move for the B wave, and now we were going to start to come down for the C wave. And I thought that this could be a leading diagonal, and we get a correction up, and then they'd start to come back down, but jobs never changed that. So I think because this is a 5-wave move, I think this 3-wave move could be W, and this could be like a WXYXZ correction. So that'd be W, this was X, and then I'd expect a Y, so we need 3 waves. And so far, it looks like 1, 2, and then it looks like they're about to break that 5166, and that'd be the Y wave. And then I think it'd be in a position where we could start to come down. Now, WXY, you could also get a 3-wave move for an X, and then still one more up for the Z wave. So it could be kind of choppy next week, and that's kind of what I think, because of no data points. So I could see them coming up, and then chopping around, and then chopping back up, and then it'd just be a big WXYXZ correction, and then we would start to come down. But one more move up, and it would be in a, that could be a WXY, and then they would be in a position that they would start to come all the way down. So that's my base case. Because of this wave being 5 waves, it must be a WXYXZ. That's why I think this is just going to be a B wave, and we come down, and we're not going to be breaking the top off of this move. Now, the only way that I can see us going up is if I'm wrong, and instead of 5 waves, somehow it's only 3, and then they'd be doing a diagonal, because obviously this is not an impulse. So that would be 1, and if this is somehow just like a WXY, and that was 2, and then this is going to be your 1, 2, 3 wave move for the 3rd wave, and then we'll get a 4, and then back up for 5. That's the only way I can see this going up to eventually break the top on this move up. So as it stands right now, if this is 1, 2, and then this is going to be 3, I got this zone where 4 is, but this is just based on the 5166 level. But I don't think that this is the third, the top of the third yet. I think they have to come up and break that one more time, which means then this box will be moving up. So it might be like 5120 or something like that. But anyway, so I want to see the reaction when they do go and break this top. How strong of a move sell-off is it? Because if it's real choppy, and then they come back up, and then they come back down, and it gets in like into this, but it's real choppy, that's gonna look more like a 4 then to me. And then especially if they go back up in 3 waves, and then we'll have a 5-wave move, and then I think we will be going to break the top, because then we'll get a correction, and then they'll still continue up. So yeah, when they break this high, I want to see how strong, because obviously the stronger it gets, and especially if it blows through this zone that I have, then I think they could be coming all the way down. But if it's real choppy going down, I think then they're going to be going back up. So that's what I'm looking for. I want to see the sell-off when they break above 5166. And then when we look at the Nasdaq, it's pretty much the exact same scenario. Yeah, I got this 5-wave move, so I think that was a W, this was the X, and now they should. The sell-off today on the Nasdaq was much smaller percentage-wise than the S&P. I almost like to see them come down before they break 1850. Give a little bigger correction and go up. And I think that's, like I said, that'd be W, that'd be X, and this would be Y. And then they would be in a position to start to head down. So for both markets, both charts, I still think, because that C wave was strong and there was no divergence, I still think there's a good chance that they come down one more before we go back up. So we'll have to watch that sell-off when it comes up. Because again, if it's choppy here, I think then that's 4, and then they could be going right back up for 5. Okay, so let's look at some of the individual stocks, and we'll start with AMD that we've been following. Now AMD drew this box, and they came right, like literally right to it, just a little wick on Thursday to it. And that is the place that I would expect, if this is going to be like the correction, and then there's still one more up. Somewhere in here is where they should be reversing. Now, just like the S&P and the Nasdaq, this sell-off here was very sharp. That little X wave is very small. So I just like the Nasdaq and the S&P, I feel like this WXY, they could just come into here and then sell off one more time, just to give a little bit bigger correction. Because this is just so vertical, straight down. It's a very small little correct. I think you might be able to get AMD down here one more time. So something in the 140, 130s range, and then that looks really good to go back up, and that'd be a great trade. So now where they are right now, even if you wanted to take a stab, buy at 150, playing for 161 into this 174 range. That wouldn't be, if you're a short-term trader, that wouldn't be bad. Or if you don't care, I think this is a pretty good entry because even if they do get rejected there and they come back down, I think somewhere down in here is going to be a really good place to buy anyway. And you might just have to just wait for them to correct one more time before they start to head up. So AMD looks really good. It's just a matter of your risk tolerance. Do you feel safer buying down in here, or you don't care if you're a longer term trader, buying down here to go break the high is looking good. Okay, Apple. So after their earnings, they blasted off. As I said last week, I see this running flat pattern potentially playing out. Now I thought this, so I got this WXY, I thought that was the A wave. And there's three waves here, A, B, C. So I thought that could be the B wave, and that could be coming down for the C wave. One, it should have come down a little bit farther, and plus, this is only a three-wave move, A, B, C. And this C wave has to be five waves. So I feel like this ABC, that was just the A wave of the B wave. And then this is the B wave, and now they're going to go up for the C wave. This is all just the B wave, and then we're going to get the sharp sell-off for the C wave before they head back up, and that'll be the running flat. So I don't think the B wave correction is done yet. So I think this is going to be A, and I think this could be B. They could just come back down one more time and make a bigger B wave, but I definitely see them going to break their high. It's just a matter of, are they doing it from where they are right now, or do they still have one more down to 164 and then go? So I'd only be looking for the buy setups. And given the strength of this, obviously there's not going to be any divergence. And if they do this, because we have 1, 2, 3, and they've already, they pretty much sold off the whole day today. So if they come, and if they give like a little three wave here, and this area holds, and then they go back up, then that's your impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's exactly what you would want to see, because then you can just let this correct, and then you just start figuring out where you want to buy, because then Apple's going to go up, and then I'm sure it's going to take out its high. So Apple looks really good, but I'd want to just kind of get validation that they go and break that high one more time, because then that'd be a five-wave move, and then you can just let it correct and then start buying. So Apple looks good. All right, Freeport McMoran. This one also looks good, and it's come right into this zone here. But just like a lot of the stocks, I don't know that this is going to be all the correction. It's an ABC, but I feel like this three-wave move, that's just the A, and now they're in the process of making the B wave, and then we have one more down for C, so back down to 48. But either way, I'd only be looking for buy setups in Freeport, and if you're already in, really good job. But I think there's more up, and this move up is looking really strong. Like there's no divergence, so I don't even think this is done. So I'd wait for a pullback. I wouldn't buy right here. Wait for any kind of pullback. And if you're able to, I'd buy just in case they do go up. And if you can, your risk tolerance allows, because they still could come all the way down to 48. But yeah, I think any pullback, I'd definitely be interested in buying that one. Okay. And Tesla too, this one looks good. Now, as I said, let me go out to the daily. as I said last week, we're still in this limbo because we have an ABC up and then we have an ABC down. So bulls are looking at it going, okay, that's 1 and that's 2, and now we're going to go up for 3, 4, and 5. And then obviously the bears are going, well, he got this ABC up, and then he had that ABC down, this ABC up, and now we should be coming back down to break 101. And we don't know yet, but given the strength of this after their earnings, this is looking good that it's got some legs. And if you're a short-term trader, so if we drill in, like this move up here, like all there is this little, that little baby correction there. Like I feel like that's just the A wave. Like if it's in the comeback down, because they could be making a diagonal. Doesn't look like an impulse. That correction wasn't big enough for an impulse. So I feel like that's going to be the A wave. And this, I mean, it's already 3 waves down to there. That could be the B, or they might, this might be like, they might start coming down. They already did. And they might have one more trip down here. But I feel like they're going to go back up here at least one more time. And then when they do, that'll be like the moment of truth for Tesla to see what's going to happen when they get up to this 198 level. But yeah, I feel like this is the A, and now this should be some type of B wave, and they should have one more up move, which it's a pretty decent trade right there. Even if it's just up to break that high, and if you're lucky, then it'll just keep marching higher. But yeah, Tesla looks good for at least one more up to 198. So short-term traders, I think that's a good trade there. And biotech ETF. Haven't looked at this in a while, but this one too looks real good. But just like the S&P and the Nasdaq, this sell-off from their February high, I mean that's very aggressive, and that's why I've labeled it an A wave, because we just have this little 3-wave move, 1, 2, 3. I can't imagine that strong of a move down is going to be all the correction. So I feel like that's just the A wave, and this is the B wave. Maybe they set it the B today. Maybe there's a little bit more up to get into this 92 to 94 range. But I feel like there's still going to be one more down. And then I think anything in the low 80s here, that's looking really good. We'll have to see the strength of that sell-off. But yeah, I think this is A, B, and they should be coming down for a C, and then going back up there. So biotech looks good, but I think you're going to be able to get it lower, just like I see on most of the charts. So we'll see if that all plays out. All right, that's what I see on those. Hope it helps. Hope you got something out of it. Good luck to you all. I'll see you in the next video.